Okay, hi everybody, hi class. This is the next in the series of caricature sketch tutorials. Just before I begin, I wanted to just recap on some of the materials I'm using. The paper is just standard Office A4 white paper. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive, just whatever comes to hand. A colour pencil, which can be any colour at all, as long as it's not black. At the moment I'm using green for this sketch of TAYLA. A rubber. Now I like to use a rubber like this. It's called a dust-free rubber, which is quite good, especially if you have allergies or something. And what I've done, if you look closely, you can see I've cut the edges to make them quite sharp and quite pointed, and this is very useful for getting into those areas around the eyes and around the mouth and nose and so on, where you want to be quite careful. So that's something you need to have at hand. And then finally, the black pencil that I've probably mentioned to you before, by Derwent. It's a Derwent artist pencil, ivory black. Can't quite see the number, 6700. Okay, I think I got it this time, 6700. And again, these are nice pencils. They're actually useful because they're going to save you money in the long run, because you can get very faint lines and very dark lines from the same pencil. So it's probably going to save you buying 6 different shades of pencil. And plus you save time with having to keep switching over and over. So that's it. Rubber, colour pencil, black pencil and white paper. Next to nothing. It really doesn't cost very much. So there you go. Okay, so let's get started on this sketch of TAYLA. Now this one, I was told that she's quite keen on badminton. So I'm going to do another one of a body like we did before with Anna, if you remember, sitting on her books. So we're going to start with her face, which already is tilted on the photo, which helps quite a lot. Okay, we'll get her eyeline down here. We'll put her eye on here and on here. So same sequence, face shape, center line, eye line, and then we're going to put her nose in here, which is quite small. And her mouth is quite friendly and smiley. So I hope you can see that. I don't know if I said badminton, I meant squash. So you'll see in a moment what we're going to be doing. So I'm just finishing off her eyelashes here for now, getting the eyes in position. Looking very nice. Just put her top lid on there. And we mentioned before, keep the eyebrows high if you want somebody to look friendly and appealing and all those lovely things that we like. So this distance here, keep that nice and open. Right, last thing, we're going to put her chin. Good. So now we're going to recap. We've got the eyebrows, eyes, nose, mouth and chin all on this line. And now we can begin to fill in the shape of the face. So she's quite young. It's going to be quite full. And remember, this is just our green coloured level, so there's no need to be perfect at this stage. We're going to go over all of this with our black pencil afterwards. What I'm going to do, these eyes are nicely rounded, but we're going to actually cut into them with her lower lid, I suppose you'd call it. Yeah, lower eyelid. And this is caused by her smiling. It's pushing this area up into her eyes, so it's creating this sort of sort of area here that's closing up her eyes, which is all part of smiling, I suppose. Right, now next thing is to get her hairline, which we're going to put around here. And along the line of her eyes, we're going to put her ear, which is just there. We're not going to worry about the hair just now. This is the area we're worried about, is to make sure that hairline is correct. And it's also going to cut into one of her eyes, like so. So even though the eye is obscured, the fact that you know it's there and you've drawn it correctly is going to help your drawing. Okay. Right, so that's her face. Let's do her body now. So we're going to treat it like a cartoon body. It's a bit of a stick figure, really. So this is her upper body, like this. And then it's joined here at the waist. And then her lower body is going to be around here. And it's just going to be like two blocks, just one on top of the other. Okay, but they've got very different angles. Obviously one is tilted this way, one's tilted that way, and that's what's going to give it the rhythm. Little skinny legs we're going to give her. One there and one up here. And we're going to just indicate her shorts as well. I'm sure she hasn't got skinny legs, but it just looks funnier that way, I suppose. Her feet are going to be oversized as well. And this is all the guide for the black line that's coming later. Okay, now this is her shoulder area. We're going to, rather than treat it like one arm over here and another arm over there, we're going to treat it like one arm. I'm sorry, not one arm, but one shoulder line, if you like. So it'll give it more of a rhythm. So we're going to go straight through the body like that. And it helps the two arms to act in unison, as it were. They're not joined exactly, but they do have a natural relationship that we want to keep. All right. Her hands, again, they're going to be oversized like her feet. And this one here is going to be holding the squash racket, so we'll make sure we get that. So I hope you're getting to see all this. And again, if you have any questions, you can send them to rick@rickmachinstudios.com, and I'll do my best to answer anything you might have. And also there's information there about joining the online classes we're doing. We've got some great students working at the moment. They're doing some wonderful work, so be nice to have you part of the team. Okay, so I think that's just about it. Now one thing I'm going to do now is what we call a puddle shadow, and I think I mentioned this with Anna's drawing as well, just to ground the cartoon. So we're going to imagine that TAYLA is standing in a bottle of ink, like we do. Not too far out and not too wide either. Keep it fairly shallow. Doesn't need to be a big deal, but it just really helps to ground your character. Good. Now the last thing we're going to do is put the hair on. Now she's got quite big hair, as you notice. It's quite full and thick, and she's swept it all back, so we're going to make sure we take advantage of that. There we go. Good. So let's get on with the black line now. We're going to actually, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to just add a little star shape here, and you'll see why in a moment. Okay, so this clean-up process, I'm just doing the eyes first. I always like to make sure I've got the eyes right. And if you notice, I haven't cleaned up this eye because that's covered, but it's served its purpose, so that's good. Now this here is just a little flash. It's a bit of an impact flash, and then what we've got here is a squash ball just flying off in the distance. And this is where it's coming in on this side. And if you notice, I haven't changed this pencil once. It's the same black pencil that I've used for all of these lines. So I would recommend getting them. And in case you're wondering, I'm not getting paid by Derwent to say this, although I wish they would. Would be nice. There we go, this is the squash racket here. Oh, this one's taking a long time. We're up to 15 minutes. So they don't normally take this long, but I wanted this one to look nice for you, so I hope you don't mind. And I mentioned before, you can always watch these at double speed if you prefer. It's the same thing, really. You'll get the same impact. And one day I'll learn how to edit and cut these things down a bit more. Yeah, we'll just fill in the shadow here. And I'll put a few strings on that racket as well. That'll help. Take out some of the stuff we don't need. And to be honest, even if you leave some guidelines on your drawing, it doesn't really hurt. And sometimes it can give it a bit of extra energy and a bit of life, you know. So don't feel you've got to clean everything completely and make it a perfect cartoon. Let's give her some darker shorts, I think, just to separate them out, and some darker socks as well. So there we are, there's TAYLA getting hit on the head with a squash ball. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed that. Let's see if we can zoom in a bit for you. Okay, I hope you like that. And then I'll zoom out again and just see if I can get a bit farther out. I guess not. I think that's as far as we're going to get.